Welcome. These will be my thoughts on M.O.D.O.K, Season 1, Episode 2, The M.O.D.O.K That Time Forgot. The episode is rated TVMA, so this video be. There will be spoilers for these first two episodes, possibly other Marvel, but yeah. Did I already mention? Love this episode. Let's dive right in. Gonna try to keep it chronological, unlike the episode. Yeah, I continue to really think it just works. This thing of, modern style sitcom with comic book characters. And let's see. Yeah, the way that they're exploring, so M.O.D.O.K's trying to win back Jodie. And because it's a comic book, they use time travel, and he's evidently going to have to deal with his younger self in the present. So so he got a villain origin story. Yeah, I think that I really appreciate the dark comedy of the show. This thing of the kids running around saying, claiming the different things they want. That's how they're dealing with the divorce. And they went, "Hey, I'm not dead. You are the mom." And we think maybe M.O.D.O.K will actually be mature when he says, one thing you need to know about mom, but then of course he goes, "She's lost it." And yeah, the whole thing with so yeah, Jodie. Oh, right, and the super adaptoid, which is like, listen, I'll stay with either, whichever, and then they're like, no, we don't want, why is the toaster talking to us? These are definitely M.O.D.O.K's kids, and let's see, what was the other thing in that scene? Yeah, so Jodie is asking about, if she wants the movers to come in tomorrow, and he's like, well, maybe sometime next year. And his calendar, let's see, I think it's CADM, calendar app designed for M.O.D.O.K, like how M.O.D.O.K is, the acronym. And the thing about, was it Swamp Timber and Swamp Tober? I'll be swamped for all of September, Swamp Timber, and Swamp Tober. Me and the boys are going to the swamp. I think that does bring us. Oh, right, and the thing, their daughter going like, "This is making me really sad," and it's like, well, who still has CDs? And I take issue with the characterization of Hoobastank as the Beatles of the 60s, but the 90s, but I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to. That is, wow, dude, they're much better. Damn. And then he's like, who are the Beatles? The Hoobastank of the 60s. And I think that does bring us to, and Jodie is nostalgic for, she doesn't remember why they missed the concert, but they did miss it. And I think, doesn't that bring us, let's see, there's the other part where, right, and so he goes to, I think that's when he goes to work. No, wait, no, I'm pretty sure and the guy, I feel bad for laughing, but it's really fucking funny. It's like, oh, I don't sleep so well because the phantom limb pain, it's, oh, I'm sorry, it's difficult for me to focus because I'm on so many antidepressants. And M.O.D.O.K keeps like being, oh, yada, yada, yada. We all have problems, man. And I think that's what, and the thing about, I have no time to leisurely. I didn't say leave with it. I meant hold it while I drink. And yeah, he decides about the time machine that he insists he invented, and then later admits he did not. He invented it, and yeah, the thing about a minute of meditation, yeah, something like that, and yeah, that's again a timely crack at that kind of boss in the tech sector. And yeah, Austin not at all realizing what M.O.D.O.K is thinking, and also just the part where it cuts to M.O.D.O.K's perspective, and there's the okay, so fix marriage, but then also kill. Yeah. And I think yeah, and then he's like, okay, so what's your he gets the address, and finds out that he's allergic to strawberries, and then yeah, has no clue what M.O.D.O.K is planning there. I think that brings us, let's see, right, and the thing, you should stretch your legs. I'm in peak physical condition. Yeah, more like peak of shit mountain. Shit mountain isn't real. I want you to know that. I really do enjoy this. Like, he goes back and forth between being a genius and not that. And I think that brings us to, yeah, so they go to steal it from the Shield helicarrier. We have to go steal it from Shield. It's like, that might be the worst disguise I've ever seen. And I've watched Turtles media, like, and the live action Scooby-Doo, or the two that James Gunn wrote. I forget if there's more than those two. And but yeah, and he's from Chicago, so his name is Deep Dish. And he's just like, he's practically just reading the Wikipedia of like, here's things to know about Chicago. And then the other guy comes, and also just like, yeah, it's like the suit is hanging in front. It's so up, and he's got the cap. You could not be worse disguised, and yeah, the other guy walks in, and he's still in the AIM beekeeper suit, but just with the thing, and I forget the details, but yeah, there's something, he like mismatches, like he's doing an Australian accent and saying he's from Ohio maybe, or something like that, just terrible. And yeah, the guy's like, we don't even have water coolers anymore, which was also like, this, do people still have water coolers? Don't, but yeah, and I don't know. I'm sure some places do, but it's not quite so. There was a while where it was quite universal, and he's like, "How did you get up here?" And then we get the establishing shot. They're establishing the hell out of that helicarrier, and it's like, yeah, that is. I mean, I buy that they got up there, but it is the kind of thing of like, yeah, it's so much worse than if just like, if it was a regular office building disguised or something. But yeah, and then human projectile, human what? And I think, yeah, so and they fight, right, and it's like, I don't need Cerebro or the ultimate nullifier, which, like, appreciate those. That's like, I mean, by 2021, when this episode first aired, Cerebro, not that deep a cut. If you've watched an X-Men movie, you know what Cerebro is. But the ultimate nullifier, damn. Yeah, um, that goes back a little bit. That's not something if, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and the time crystal, and he's like, well, you're definitely sterile now. Jesus Christ. And so he goes, he explains to his wife, to Jodie, and, we have the thing about oh, right, oh my God, the part about, yeah, that was really fucked up when the son is talking about what he thinks is going to happen to him in the future. And they even spell out, like, happy ending, so you're giving the full massage, which, like, appreciate someone pointing out, because, like, sometimes people will say, happy ending, and what they mean is just, like, hand job or something. And I mean, technically, yeah, happy ending does mean you gave a massage before that. Otherwise you could just say HJ or something. But yeah, that's really fucked up. I'm very, very glad that I know that the actor who read that line, and I'm hoping I'm pretty sure, I'm kidding. Obviously, also the person who wrote it are both of age. And I think, yeah, and at first Jodie is not really a fan of the idea, and yeah, she mistakes it for maturity. Of course, he is there to win her back, but yeah, and the parts where he fucks up with accidentally sending the car through time, and then you know getting her to go through, and then he's like, so you didn't atomize when you walked through the portal, right? And let's see, yeah, and accidentally traveled back too far. And then this thing about, oh, I guess the time machine didn't account for leap years, which, like, I mean, outside of, I'm not certain if it's the first time that joke's been made, but it is the kind of thing of, like, I mean, yeah, hypothetically, if time travel were possible, I guess you'd have to take extra care to make sure to account for that, so you don't end up in the wrong, time. And yeah, the thing about, the, let's see, it's that, yeah, we see college M.O.D.O.K, M.O.D.O.K, Dog, and he is, we get another, and it's a running gag on the show. It is also a thing in the comics there. I am, originally at least, it was not meant to be funny, but yeah, M.O.D.O.K does say, you dare, blah, 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 M.O.D.O.K, and yeah, you dare touch M.O.D.O.K's stuff. And so he's torturing this guy, and he even leaves him in with the torture still on as he walks out. Yeah. And yeah, so he realizes, and he wants to find out about, oh, M.O.D.O.K must have conquered, my older self must have conquered the world, and ends up going through the time portal. And yeah, like, the concert genuinely it is kind of sweet in this very dark, morbid way. He's like, hey, get out of the way. My wife wants to, so the ex-wife wants to, get up on stage and that, so he just shoots them, and she's like, what a gentleman. I mean, she wouldn't be married to M.O.D.O.K if no use of his powers could possibly make a positive impression on her, obviously, so yeah, they let's see, that's when we get the, yeah, and he's like threatening people to make sure that they don't drop her. And let's see, yeah, and we get, they set up that, he does have a favorite song, and it's the one he sings there at the end. And let's see, yeah, we see POV shot, and he sees her really happy, and they dance together, genuinely sweet. I've said before, listen, I'm no good at it either, but if a woman you love is asking you to dance, like, at least try for her, and And for the record, I probably wouldn't do it in public, but I did do it in private for her. Anyway, I think that, yeah, let's see. Yeah, and we have, I probably shouldn't repeat the exact words, but yeah, the guy selling, yeah, and just like it couldn't be more of a hint to like, hey, remember Austin? And so he goes, and then, Jody realizes he's leaving, and the guy selling is like, says something, and then she's like, is that another song by that band? And he's like, no, it's an opinion by me. And I guess it's good that M.O.D.O.K took a break to whine about how you sleep in such a nice childhood bed. Wow. Dude, you really need to talk to a mental health care professional, because like being jealous that a child slept in a race car. Wow. Oh, right. Also the thing about, I'll travel back in time to until before I became too, started to let myself go in this marriage, before I started farting in the marital bed and at the wake and the funeral and the entire time through her lengthy eulogy. I'm almost kind of impressed. Like, what do you eat to accomplish that? Jesus. I think that brings us to the, let's see. I guess I'll briefly note. So, We Gonna Be Alright did a really solid video. Surely He Can't Be This Stupid. And yeah, Shirley the name, Nick Shirley. And yeah, it's really, really solid. Appreciate the, yeah, he's always great. When is We Gonna Be Alright not great? I think that pretty much... Right, and also watched, let's see, Legion Miller. I believe that was her, pointing out that a bunch of Danes bought red hats, but not MAGA, but or another kind of MAGA, Make America Go Away. And she said they were sold out, and she appreciates that. What can I say? Sometimes I am very, very proud of my fellow Danes. I think that does bring us to the, let's see. Yes, so he's, yeah, if he hadn't stood, if M.O.D.O.K had not whined about the race car bed, he might have been, he might have poisoned Austin before Jody got there. And yeah, they have a conversation, and she even has to say, would you please stop trying to kill him while I'm talking to you? And it's such a fun mix, because it's this thing of, it is an actual problem. There are a lot of men who just won't listen when a woman in their life is talking to them, and so she has to say, could you please stop doing that while I'm talking so we can, but because he's a supervillain, he's also doing, yeah. And he does at least have a little bit of a pang of conscience when, I don't know, this would be, yeah. And then he's like, maybe he's evil though, and, I heart mommy. And he volunteers at a soup kitchen as like a child. I'm not even sure that's legal, although Republicans are trying to bring back child labor, so maybe this episode was ahead of its time. And what was that last one? The biggest little bone marrow donor. That is so fucked up. You really should not be, not as a child. Like, it's obviously, it's a, yeah, um, donating to, yeah, something from your body to, yeah, Jesus Christ. That, that is good, but a child should not be. But yeah, holy shit. He's like the anti-Damien. Neomad, I guess. And the yeah, it's it really is. Like, if you find yourself, in a situation where you can, you know, for example, donate a kidney. Like, that can be just, it's a truly beautiful thing to, to do for someone else. Just be aware it should probably be your own. Otherwise, they will have questions. But let's see, I think that pretty much brings it. Yeah. The thing about, the, let's see, I guess it's around there that there's the, right, yeah. So then, Komodo comes in, and there's a fight, and I love the fucking Pokemon logic of, one of them gets a flamethrower, so the other one uses a fire extinguisher, and one of them gets a sword, so the other gets a shield, and then one of them does the two finger, and the other one holds the hand, so fucking Three Stooges, like, Jesus. And yeah, there's the thing with the crystal getting stuck in his face, which is a cool look, and very, villain kind of, yeah. And he goes through time, and we find out later where he ends up. And the thing about, he slept through this whole thing. No wonder he's always so rested. And yeah, and so they need the time machine, and you misheard me. I said indented. If you need something indented, I'm your man. And so they have to talk to Monica, and she's just the sweetest little girl, and she's trying to end world hunger. And M.O.D.O.K destroys it, and it's like, I didn't even like eating it. I just wanted to see if I could fuck with you, And yeah, then the guidance counselor's like, I don't know what that is, but I hate it. Oh wow, potato clock, but it doesn't even work. Yes, but it might. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that is such a fucking apt description of this thing of, like, mediocre men failing upwards whilst extraordinary women are kept down by patriarchy. That genuinely, like, Jesus. And she gets so angry that the glass in her glasses break slightly. I don't even know how did that happen? I think that's a really good question. And I think that brings, but yeah, I do like that she's like, well, I haven't cracked time travel yet. And I think that's the part where, yeah, so they, yeah, she's like, I would rather spend the rest of my life alone in the past than spend another second with you. And there's the thing about, they have to be careful what they do in the past, or they could fuck things up. And which I wonder if when we next see Monica, if she's going to be like even more evil. And I do also, it is very funny that, like, yeah, she used to want to do good. And Austin, like, in his sleep, he's already talking about, he's, I guess, dreaming about, some of this, like, yeah, the stuff that he, yes. And I think that brings us to the, yeah, so M.O.D.O.K watches Shipwrecked and is like, now she's not going to talk all the way through the movie, so I'll understand the pivotal plot points. And he reconstructed her made out of 500 Swedish meatballs at IKEA. Like, damn. And the he eats some of the meatballs, and the thing about how, you work at NASA now? No, I stole it out of a dumpster. Because, like, talk about, like, holy crap, that is really impressive. Like, that's what she would be if she wasn't married to this fucker. Like, damn. And she's like, I eat squirrels, and later they're also referred to as squirrel people. But but yeah, the he was gonna rob their own place. Like, damn. And then they witness, it's been 9 months, so yeah, right. And also the thing about, right, we missed it because I realized I was pregnant. That was not your finest hour. And we see he's like, oh my God. So I'm not going to say it, but, if you watch the episode, how he reacted, the particular thing he was about to do before she stopped him. Like, damn, that's fucking dark. And it is like, if you have a dark enough sense of humor, it is like, obviously it reflects the fact that, yeah, a lot of young men, like, they are really horrified when they find out they're going to be parents. And, it's that kind of thing of like, well, there's things you can do to avoid pregnancy, And let's see, I think, which, to be clear, I hold men to a higher standard there than women. I appreciate some women are, they feel so much pressure, and some of them are outright afraid to say that they have to use protection, and so many men lie about it. So yeah, I think that does, yeah. So they witness, the early days, and we do appreciate, yeah, they really did, like, M.O.D.O.K really tried to be there for his family back then, and the thing about, like, at first she's crying, and then he gets her the hover chair. She flies it into the table, so he destroys the table, and these various things, and they're having an argument, and then, the daughter, like, detonates the fucking cat with the mind laser, and they're like, and then they go back to arguing. Wow. And yeah, and the part where, he can't quite fit the super adaptoid into one box, so he has to cut it in half, which, like, considering we know this, we know super adaptoid has at least, like, emotions. Like, I'm not sure we've seen yet, can he feel pain? Certainly it is, yeah, we know that he cares about, yeah, I'm sure it was upsetting for him. And that brings us to let's see, yeah, so, they witness all this stuff, and we see them growing old together, over these years, it was the 17 years. And the thing about, then we see the time travel, right before the time travel, where he accidentally sends the car, and then they run up and smash the time machine, and they're like, oh shit, we were meant to say, you belong to, and then it's, and he's like, what does that mean? And it's like, motherfucker, if you had just, like, played keep away with it for 2 seconds, and one of you explain, at least say that, and just, something, okay, maybe more than 2 seconds, unless you speak really fast. But yeah, explain the bonding experiences you went through. But yeah, that is genuinely, it is very funny, and very, like, there are a number of comedies where, because, like, essentially we spent the entire episode with them bonding again, but then at the end it's been forgotten. It didn't happen to those versions of them. So Yeah. Right, and also very clever, this thing of like, explaining that, without the time crystal, you cannot use the time machine. And so they smash the crystal. There you go. Nothing, no way for it to work now. So, yeah. And he moves out and finds himself in that really shitty apartment. And he's like talking about M.O.D.O.K. Yeah, the this utopia he's going to build is like working title because it's working. And even the super adaptar is like, I don't know about this, man. Like, he's usually such a team player. Like, he goes along with so much, but like, dude, I don't. That's fucking terrible. Like, what next? Bison dollars. And I think that does bring us to the right, and some guy in the apartment is yelling at them, and then M.O.D.O.K claims to be a small Polish woman. That's, oh my god, that's so fucked up. And I think that does pretty well. Let's see. Yeah, it was really, really cool. This idea that, college M.O.D.O.K, the M.O.D.O.K developed only for college. Him returning, or yeah, showing up in the present because of the time machine, which is also such a wonderful paradox. But that's going to be really cool, and he can be a major threat. And let's see. Yeah, that does just leave. So the thing about, well, this is bad. It's rock bottom. I said bad. And I know that's not supposed to be a direct quote. I know that. Yeah. Changed it for comedic purposes. I think, let's see. So, he goes into the bathroom and we hear, the song that was the one that he was hoping. It was a little bit unclear, the earlier, but yeah, he does, that is, yeah. And so he sings it really poorly, and then Super Laptop's like, can I be part of this? And he does the do 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 part, which, like, yeah. And yeah, I mean, it is a pretty good song. I knew it before watching this. Oh, right. Shit. Loved a couple of references. There was one to Kirby, for example, Jack Kirby. Very nice. But yeah, I would definitely say I have listened more to the Weird Al polka parody of that song. Um, that really cracks me the fuck up. And I think that covers everything. And yeah, I appreciate, like, it, and they have this thing of like, it's kind of a sweet moment. It's perhaps a little bit corny, but yeah, and he is genuinely, like, the lyrics do apply nicely to the situation. And I think that might cover, let's see, the yeah, so I'm not certain if there will be more episodes. I mean, by the end of this episode, it does seem like M.O.D.O.K is now going to focus on, you know, world domination. But yeah, there's definitely, they can do something with the divorce, whether it goes. It seems like it is going through. But hypothetically, if one of the next episodes does not, you know, if something does happen, so they get back together, there's also potential there. And I think that might. Yeah, it was genuinely funny when Austin's like, "Oh right, CDs. Damn. Because I'm your superior in every conceivable possible way. I mean, I don't have time to list all the things, you'd have died of old age before I got halfway through. Sometimes I forget just how fucking old you are. Like, damn, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, like, how many years do you even have left, dude? Do you even have enough time left to plan a horrible revenge on the person saying these words?